Testing, testing, 1, 2. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Kevin Moore, Associate Principal and Athletic Director at Grafton High School. Once again, in our 5th consecutive year, I have the honor of presiding over our GHS Athletic Hall of Fame ceremony. Today, we will be inducting this year's edition of Grafton High School Legends into the GHS Athletic Hall of Fame. Please join me in a round of applause for inductees Dr. Satie Nenning, Mr. Jim Stewart, Ms. Sarah Grange, and Mr. Mike Lemirande. As always, let me take a moment to thank all of those that have worked hard to help make this process a reality. This includes, but is not limited to, Athletics Assistant, Ms. Amanda Brennan, who I would probably label one of the driving forces behind all the preparation that you see today. Hall of Fame committee members, family and friends of our inductees, GHS Principal, Mr. Scott Manti, Superintendent, Mr. Jeff Nelson, and our District Board of Education members for their continued support throughout this process. Over the past few weeks, I was reflecting on a few different topics. How our current spring programs were faring, some planning for the summer months and next fall, and working within the day-to-day of our building. I also found myself reflecting on a topic of administrative discussion in our recent times, which would be student and teacher use of AI, or artificial intelligence. Like a lot of districts, the Grafton School District wants to be on the front foot of how we incorporate AI into our lessons and how we communicate with our students on proper ways to use it, especially in the changing world that we live in. Will it be used for academic dishonesty? Is it an effective tool? In what direction do we want to instruct our staff to best serve our students? With that in mind, I decided to get some hands-on experience with it. And so, I took to my computer. The best aspects of high school athletics is what I decided to type in when doing my search. Out came a flurry of computer-generated responses, but here are some of the most prevalent ones that I picked up on. Life skills, academic performance, long-term benefits. I firmly believe that when you hear about the accolades, accomplishments, memories, and stories of our 4 inductees tonight, we will all agree that their experience as Blackhawks assisted them on their journey both during their time at GHS and beyond. When you step back and look at the big picture of being involved in high school athletics, isn't that what it's all about? Transitioning lessons learned through athletics into success in life. This evening, we are here to celebrate individuals who did just that. The first Blackhawk to be honored today is GHS swimming legend and 2010 graduate, Dr. Satie Nenning. Yes. Here to present Satie is her former coach and current teacher at Woodview Elementary School here in Grafton, Mr. Adon Burgos.
Good evening, everyone. So I was fortunate to coach Satie all 4 years of her high school swimming career here at Grafton. Her freshman year was actually my first year as a head coach as well, so I feel like it created a special bond between the two of us right from the start. So for me, that's why it's really such an honor and privilege to be here to introduce someone whose name will now be permanently etched in the legacy of our school's athletic greatness. Satie Nenning, a true champion in every sense of the word. From the moment she hopped in the Grafton pool as a freshman, it was clear she was someone special. Her athletic achievements are undeniable. She was named our team MVP all 4 years, served as captain for 2. She had multiple sectional and state championships, and she broke numerous school records. Her success, of course, didn't stop after high school. At Emory University, she was part of 4 consecutive D3 national championship winning teams. Individually, she claimed 4 national titles, including the 200-yard backstroke in 2012. She earned 17 All-American honors, the 3rd most in Emory's program history. However, it was her relentless work ethic and her leadership that I believe defines her and why she's being honored today. Under her leadership, our small Division II team was one that was feared by everyone. Now, one of Satie's standout strengths in the pool was her underwater kicking. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with swimming, elite backstrokers can kick underwater 2/3 of the way before they surface. And Satie had this perfected. Watching her race was a showstopper. She'd disappear underwater and then reappear, often a body or 2 body lengths ahead of everyone else. It was amazing, and it looked completely effortless. But as coaches and her teammates, we all knew the truth. This was a result of her hard work. Satie was without a doubt what I call a grinder. I've never coached an athlete who worked harder day in and day out. Swimming, just by nature, is a very, very grueling sport. Often 6 days a week and often twice a day. Most people don't even choose the sport because of the amount of effort you need to put in. Some athletes that do burn out, but not Satie. She'd show up early, she'd stay late, and she pushed herself every single day. Now, one of my favorite memories was our Friday morning practices. So, in an effort to keep Friday nights free for myself, I moved our practice to 5:30 a.m. Now, some swimmers grumbled, but not Satie. In fact, Satie and a few other swimmers kept on showing up earlier and earlier every single morning, to the point where I'd pull into the parking lot at 4:45, and I'd find cars full of half-sleeping swimmers waiting for me to open the pool. So at first I thought, wow, this is just amazing dedication. Later, I learned it was really so they can get out of the pool earlier, so they had time before school started to do their hair. But to be honest, the message was clear. Satie would set the tone, whether it was in the pool or getting her hair done, and everyone would follow. From the very beginning, she was our leader. As a freshman, her teammates looked to her, and by the time she was an upperclassman and a team captain, she helped build our culture, which was rooted in hard work, unity, and integrity. Satie was the pulse of our team, the heart that kept everyone beating. In high school swimming, the first event in every meet is a 200 medley relay. And the first leg of that race is the 50 backstroke, and that was Satie's race. Her performance would set the tone for the entire meet for our entire team. When she posted an amazing time, it fired up the team, and we had a great meet. And on those days, those tough days where she didn't get the time she wanted, her teammates would look to her to see how she'd respond. She never let disappointment define her. She stayed positive, kept her focus, and pulled the team forward with her. Her confidence was contagious, and her energy just magnetic. And her relentless pursuit of excellence became the team's identity. She didn't ever ask anyone for anything she couldn't do herself, and she showed everyone anything was possible if you worked hard. And it wasn't always easy, of course. She faced her fair share of challenges. She dealt with the everyday pressures of high school, the schoolwork, volunteering, the expectations. She battled mononucleosis during her sophomore year, which of course forced her to miss many weeks of practice. And for a competitive athlete like Satie, this was incredibly difficult, to watch everyone else train while she had to sit and watch. But she came back, slowly, determined, stronger, and defended her state championship in the 100 backstroke that year. She also managed anxiety, something that often intensifies under the pressure of leadership and expectations. And like every senior, she had to wrestle with the decision of where to go to school. Right, Mom? It was tough. Mom says Harvard, Dad says Emory. She picks one school, decides on the other, gets herself sick thinking about it, the stress. But looking back, we can all say she picked the right place. And regardless of all these challenges, what stood out was she never let adversity be an excuse. She kept showing up again and again. And after school, she continued to lead with the same strength and determination she did at Grafton. She earned her degree in neuroscience and behavioral biology at Emory, one of the most rigorous programs in our nation's top schools. Then she went on to earn her PhD in neuroscience for the University of Georgia. And during that time, she also experienced heartbreaking loss with the passing of her father, one of her biggest fans and most loyal supporters. Yet even through that grief, Satie continued forward with courage, grace. She finished what she started, and she always does. Today, she thrives in a successful career in the pharmaceutical industry, continuing to make a positive impact on the world, just as she did here at Grafton. So tonight, we honor not just an extraordinary athlete, but an extraordinary person. Someone who has shown us all what it means to be tough, to be kind, to lead with purpose, and to never stop growing. Please join me in welcoming Satie Nenning into the Grafton High School Athletic Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Satie. You've earned this moment and so much more.
Good evening, everyone. It's such an honor to be here tonight to be inducted into the Grafton High School Athletic Hall of Fame. I'm deeply humbled by this recognition, and I would like to take the opportunity to express my deepest gratitude to the many people who have supported me throughout this journey. First, I'd like to recognize my coach here at Grafton, Adon Burgos. Thank you for the incredibly kind speech, by the way. As Adon mentioned, my freshman year was his first year coaching for Grafton, and I feel so fortunate to have been a part of his team for all 4 years of my high school career. Adon brought so much more than just coaching. He brought daily inspiration, fun, dedication, and unwavering confidence in every single swimmer on the team. He taught us to believe in ourselves, even when we struggled to, and to have fun while doing so. This was something I truly needed, especially with the anxiety that I'd often experienced before races. I'll never forget how much talking to Adon before big races calmed my nerves and reminded me, yes, I can do this, and I will do this. Too bad Adon couldn't come along with me to college and beyond. Adon didn't just teach us how to be better swimmers, he taught us how to be better individuals. I fondly remember daily practices filled with an immense level of thought and purpose in everything that we did. Friday morning practices were indeed my favorite, especially because Adon would always run to Foreman Fitness afterwards and grab us all protein shakes. Great way to kick off the almost weekend. I even enjoyed the P90X dry land workouts, which us swimmers called anything outside of our environment, the water, dry land, despite how intense they were. One of the things I admire most about Adon was his commitment to our team. Not only was he consistently prepared and ready to coach us through the many meets and practices, but he also committed to being our coach for all 4 years of our high school careers, which is a rarity. There's a lot of turnover in high school coaching. We had a particularly talented cluster of swimmers on our team through the years that I was there, and I always reflect on how Adon waited for us all to graduate before moving on to his next chapter. It meant so much to me and my teammates. It showed us that he was invested in seeing us grow, thrive, and become the best version of ourselves in and out of the pool. Thank you, Adon, for believing in me, even when I doubted myself, which was very often, and for being a cornerstone of my development as both an athlete and an individual. Next, I want to acknowledge my family, especially my incredible parents, Holly and Tim. From us starting swimming lessons, to joining club teams Ghost and then Schrader, to supporting me through high school and college swimming, my parents have been, and continue to be, my unwavering supporters in not just swimming, but all aspects of my life. They were always in the stands, cheering me on in orange and black, first for Grafton, and then yellow and gold for Emory. I'll never forget when they made a bet with me that if I won a race at 10 and under state, we'd get a puppy. Well, I won, and that's how we got our family dog Buckley when I was in 5th grade. I can't even count the many hours my parents spent driving me to practice, as well as my siblings who are here and also swam competitively. To and from our practices, sitting through our early morning practices, bringing us back to the pool for doubles, volunteering at swim meets, and hosting pasta dinners for our team. Some of my fondest swim memories involve running up to my parents in the stands for a hug after a great race. Their love and encouragement has been foundational in my success, and I wouldn't be standing here without them. While I miss my dad dearly, who passed away from pancreatic cancer 4 years ago, I know he continues to be with me every step of the way throughout my new endeavors. I'm also so grateful for the many memories I have with him and my mom throughout my entire swimming career and hold them very near and dear to my heart. To my siblings, Bailey and Al, growing up with you both in a family so rooted in swimming has been one of my life's greatest blessings. We shared not only poolings and carpools, but also the highs and lows of the sport. We pushed each other, celebrated each other's victories, and leaned on each other during tough times, and still continue to do so. And yes, we did get a little competitive at times, but it was all in good fun. Sharing the record board with you both here at Grafton for some time is such a special memory that I have, and both of your successful swimming careers inspire me to this day. Grafton High School played a pivotal role in shaping who I am today. It was here in the pool and the classrooms that I learned the true meaning of hard work, determination, and striving for excellence, whether that meant winning a race, earning an A in class, or working towards the next big goal. My experiences at Grafton taught me to stay focused and never give up. Overcoming challenges like illnesses, sports anxiety, and balancing academics prepared me for success far beyond high school. When I moved on to Emory University, the foundation laid at Grafton served me incredibly well. The values of teamwork, dedication, and perseverance guided me not just throughout my collegiate swimming career, but also in the classroom and now in my professional life. The lessons I learned at Grafton about showing up for others, lifting up teammates, and always shooting for the stars are ones that I continue to draw upon daily. Finally, I'd like to thank my teammates, my teachers, and the entire Grafton High School community. To my teammates, you are my second family, and many of us still remain close today, which is very special for me. I'm grateful for the friendships we built, the victories we celebrated, and the lessons we learned from defeats. To my teachers, thank you for seeing my potential, even when I showed up to class with chlorine-soaked hair, that was dry though, thanks to Adon moving up swim practice, and tired eyes. And I want to give a special shout out to Ms. Steinbach for always being at our meets and timing for us. You all challenged me to grow academically and helped foster my love of learning. To the broader Grafton community, thank you for always being such a source of encouragement and pride. I also can't do a speech of gratitude without mentioning my now fiance, Ray. We just got engaged last week, who's also a Grafton High School grad. While we were not very close in high school, I'm forever grateful you came back into my life and for your continuous support throughout life's many adventures. This honor tonight reflects not only my personal efforts, but the collective support I've been so fortunate to receive from those surrounding me. Thank you for this meaningful recognition to Kevin, Amanda, and all of the committee members. I will forever carry the lessons I learned at Grafton High School with me and honor them in all that I do. Thank you.
At this time, we would like to present Satie with this plaque on behalf of Grafton High School, which will also hang in our commons in her honor. The next Black Hawk to be honored today is Mr. Jim Stewart. Jim has etched his name into GHS wrestling history with an outstanding high school and college career and continues to mentor the next generation of Hawks as a GHS wrestling coaching staff member. Here to present Jim is his friend, former teammate, and GHS Hall of Famer, Jeremy Fisher.
Good evening, everybody. Well, they don't look like that in high school anymore. Like Kevin said, Jeremy Fisher, Hall of Famer 2 years ago. I met Jim when we were, I was probably 5th grade, he was 7th, 8th grade. We'd be in that gym over there every Thursday and Tuesdays doing practice, ran by Jack Knetter, who's here again, coached us through the youth program. Jim asked me to do this speech because he said him and I kind of made wrestling relevant in Grafton in the 90s, which kind of came true. A lot of duels and meets where the few of us were the only ones that win matches once in a while. Him being a senior and me and a freshman, once we made it this far, he kind of made sure nobody really would mess with the freshmen because he knew in his eyes about me that something good was going to come in a few years later. I kind of wanted to follow in his footsteps while he was running through the high school stage, and actually everything paid out. That year, Jimmy went to state undefeated, came back home with a fourth place finish, which I believe was about the first medal in about 12 years or so. And then 3 years later, I came with mine. It was pretty cool when I did my thing when Jimmy was down there with my parents and everybody was having a good time, and I think I made him proud that I followed in his footsteps, and even though he quite didn't make the pinnacle, I did, and I think he was very proud of that. So I'm going to make this short and sweet for everyone. It is my...
As was mentioned before, Jim was unavailable to be with us tonight. But at this time, we'd like to play recorded remarks from Jim, as he was unavailable.
Hello, everyone. I want to apologize for not being able to make this event in person, but I'm currently coaching my son and my daughter at the Wisconsin State Wrestling Freestyle Tournament. Shout out to them because they're better wrestlers than I ever was. I would like to thank Mr. Moore and the selection committee for granting me this tremendous honor of being selected to the Grafton Hall of Fame. I want to congratulate tonight's inductees for their great accomplishments and say what an honor it is to be inducted with them. I want to thank Jeremy Fisher, my friend and also a Grafton Hall of Fame inductee, for accepting my award. Jeremy was a Grafton wrestling great and a friend. He was Grafton's first state champ. We spent many summers wrestling all over the state together. I believe that when you think about Grafton wrestling in the 90s, Jeremy Fisher and myself would be at the top of the list. I would like to thank my teammates and practice partners, especially Scott Rome and Joe LaRosa, who pushed me daily in practice. Joe LaRosa, who is no longer with us, but will never be forgotten by me or for the legacy he brought to Grafton and Grafton wrestling. I would like to thank my dad for always being there for me and trying to get the best out of me. Thanks for hauling me around all those summer tournaments, trying to get me better. I want to thank my wife, who has supported me through my crazy schedule of coaching and hauling my own 2 kids around the state and the country. I want to thank my kids for putting up with me and the 2 of them for allowing me to coach them. I've been involved in wrestling in some form my entire life. Wrestling at Grafton taught me the values of discipline, sacrifice, and hard work. I use these traits throughout my wrestling career and beyond the mat to be successful. I started wrestling in kindergarten for the Grafton Youth Wrestling Club under Coach Steve Kittleson. This is where I fell in love with the sport. I would wrestle in countless off-season summer wrestling tournaments every single year, because anyone who knows anything about wrestling knows that summer wrestling builds winter champions. At the high school level, I helped lead the team to 2 regional team titles. I was a 2-time regional champ, sectional champ, MVP, and eventually placed 4th in state. My favorite memory was finally making it to the state tournament just because of all the hard work and dedication I put in my entire life to get there. From there, I moved on to Concordia University of Wisconsin and helped build a newly formed program into prominence. I was a conference champ, MVP, and a national qualifier, being the first wrestler at Concordia to win matches at nationals. After college, my path then took me into coaching and becoming a physical therapist. I would say here in many ways, both those roads started right here on those wrestling mats at Grafton High School. Coaching gave me the chance to give back, to pass on the lessons this sport has taught me. After high school, I started coaching at Cedarburg High School and eventually became their head coach. There, Matt Gartman, who is a good friend and also a former Grafton wrestler, formed the highly successful Cedarburg Mad Dog Wrestling Club, which is still going strong to this day. After a brief hiatus, I started coaching at Grafton High School with Mike Dodge, who is the current head wrestling coach at Grafton. At Grafton, we formed the Grafton Youth Wrestling Club, the Raptors, which has also been a highly successful program. Currently, I'm coaching at the youth, middle school, and high school levels. Giving back to the sports which I love, to me, has been one of my biggest accomplishments. I've been a physical therapist for 23 years, and I take the lessons I learned on the mat at Grafton into my practice. Physical therapy allowed me to help athletes like myself come back stronger both physically and mentally after their injuries. Whether I'm in the corner of a mat coaching a kid through their first varsity match, or in the clinic helping someone walk again pain-free, I carry the lessons I learned right here with me every single day. This induction just isn't about what I did as a wrestler. It's about the people who have shaped me. So to my coaches, thank you for pushing me. To my teammates, thank you for grinding with me. To my family, thank you for never giving up on me. Wrestling has taught me how to fight. Coaching has taught me how to lead. And physical therapy has taught me how to heal. But it all started right here at Grafton High School. Thank you so much for this honor. I'll carry it with pride, just like I carry the spirit of Grafton wrestling wherever I go. Thank you.
At this time, we would like to invite any member from the Stewart family to accept this plaque that will hang in the GHS Athletic Hall of Fame in Jim's honor. Our next inductee is class of 2013 graduate, Ms. Sarah Grange. As will be reflected on her plaque, when looking at the GHS track and field record board, it's not difficult to understand why Sarah stands to receive induction. From 2010 to 2013, Sarah was a mainstay in leading GHS to success on the track. Still owner of 6 outdoor school records and 3 indoor records, Sarah qualified for the WIAA state meet in 6 different events and is the owner of North Shore Conference championships in 5. Sarah also could not be with us in person tonight. In lieu of this, we would now like to play a message that Sarah sent to us at this time.
Hi everyone. I'm so sorry I can't be there in person with you today, but no matter where life takes me, this school and this community will always hold a special place in my heart. I am truly honored to join you virtually tonight, and it's an incredible privilege to be inducted into the Grafton High School Athletic Hall of Fame. Congratulations to my fellow inductees. What a meaningful recognition to share with you all. A heartfelt thank you to Kevin Kriegel for nominating me and to the athletic department for selecting me for this honor. Track and field was such a formative part of my high school experience, and it means the world to see that time and passion remembered in this way. Some of my best memories from GHS are tied to the track team. I was fortunate to be coached by an amazing group of leaders, Coach Kriegel, Bertley, and White, each of whom pushed and supported us and helped foster my love of running, a passion I still carry with me today. What truly made the experience unforgettable, though, were my teammates. As a freshman, I looked up to the older girls who showed me what dedication, camaraderie, and leadership looked like, though maybe not always in the most conventional ways. For anyone who is or knows the sprinters on a track team, we weren't exactly eager to push past that 1-minute mark of effort, and one season, we were caught taking extra long water breaks at the local coffee shop during what was supposed to be a long run. So therefore, we were relegated to monitored long runs on the track. And as I grew into a captain role for the team, I was proud to pay that leadership forward. In our shared hard work and dedication, and sometimes rebellion, we also built trust, laughter, and a closeness that fueled our success as a team. And in line with that sentiment, my favorite events were always the relays. In a sport that can feel sometimes individual, relays reminded us that we were in it together. The 4x400 relay stands out the most. It was always the final event of the meet, often under the lights, when everyone's attention turned to the track. No matter how tired we were, we gave it everything we had, not just for ourselves, but for our teammates. One race I'll never forget was against our rival Homestead. Their lead runner started out really fast, and we were immediately behind. But each leg, our team clawed back time, and by the time it was my turn, catching up seemed that much more possible. I took off, chasing down their anchor, and in that final stretch, when your legs feel like lead and your lungs are on fire, I managed to pull ahead right at the finish line. We had our fair share of tough losses too, but it was moments like that, achieved together, that defined our team. I did just see that the current 4x4 relay team beat our school record last year, which is so cool to see a new generation of girls moving the baton forward for Grafton High School. Being a student athlete taught me so much beyond the sport itself, how to balance priorities, take care of my health, and stay committed to goals. It also taught me how to move past mistakes and show up better the next day. I remember one meet in particular where my high jump performance was less than ideal, and I told coach something like, well, at least tomorrow is a new day. And it was. Eventually that season, I hit a personal best and tied my teammate Kathy for a school record, earning that coveted high five from Coach Kriegel. Kathy and I both continued on to UW-Madison, competing as heptathletes for a year, which made the transition all the more fun with a familiar Grafton face by my side. While I eventually decided to focus on my academics and future career, I stayed active on UW's club track team. That team reminded me so much of Grafton's, with a spirit of fun, competition, and community. And even now I haven't stopped running, though trading in spikes for marathon bibs, and I'm definitely not chasing winning times anymore, but running has become something deeper for me, a lifelong passion and a way to connect with others no matter where I find myself. So thank you to my coaches, my teammates, and everyone who supported me at Grafton High School. This honor is truly a reflection of all of you. I'm endlessly grateful for the memories we made, the lessons I learned, and the role that you played in shaping who I am today. Thank you so much.
At this time, oh, I'm so sorry. At this time, we would like to present this plaque that will hang in our commons in Sarah's honor. Our final inductee of the day is class of 1978 graduate Mike Lemirande. A family move to Grafton set the stage for a legendary 4 years for Mike wearing the orange and black. Here to present Mike is his uncle, Mr. Woody Glim.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. And hello, everyone. My name is Woody Glim, and I'm the proud uncle of Mike Lemirande. It's a great honor to be here today to gather and celebrate this outstanding athlete's accomplishments and Mike and the other inductees. This journey for me started late January when Mike called me with the exciting news. He said he had been contacted by the Grafton High School, and they wanted to induct him into the Grafton Athletic Hall of Fame for his achievements in football and track. I said, Mike, that's a great honor. At that time, the details were still unfolding. However, in April, Mike reached out again to share this information we were waiting for. And this is going to be a special event set for May 2nd, which happens to be my birthday. My 80th birthday. Thank you. I cannot think of a more fitting way to celebrate this milestone than be honoring someone as special as Mike. I'd like to share a little bit about Mike's background. His parents, Judy and Mel Lemirande, raised Mike as the second of 3 sons, with Patrick as the eldest and Jeff as the youngest. During Mike's early years, the family lived in Milwaukee, where Mike attended Holy Redeemer Grade School and was actively involved in both football and basketball. In the summer of 1973, Judy and Mel made a decision to move the family from Milwaukee to Grafton, as Mike was about to enter the 8th grade. In his 8th grade years, Mike continued his passion for sports, playing football and basketball. Throughout high school, Mike participated in football, basketball, and track. Remarkably, during his freshman year, the football team went undefeated. Following this, Mike was moved up to the varsity football team, where he played the next 3 years. During his junior year, the team achieved a notable second-place finish in the conference. Mike's athletic talents extended far beyond the football field, as he also made a name for himself on the track team. He was a member of the 880 relay team, showcasing his speed and teamwork. Mike's crowning achievement, however, was setting a school record in the 300 low hurdles, a record that still stands today. Why? Because then it was measured in yards. Today it's measured in meters. In his senior year, the Grafton track team claimed the conference championship, and Mike, as a team captain, played a huge role in their success. His leadership and athleticism were truly a winning combination. The 1977 football team, Mike's senior year, was truly unforgettable. Mike distinguished himself by playing both offense and defensive sides of the ball, the only player on the team to do so. His senior year was among his best, as he served team captain, and he played tight end on offense and linebacker on defense. The team was well balanced both offensively and defensively. Interestingly, football games are traditionally played on Friday night, except for home games at Grafton High School, which they had to play Saturday afternoons because they have no lights at the time. The team thrived particularly on defense, where Mike was just a beast. His intensity and skill on the field were unmatched, and he loved the excitement of playing games in front of large crowds. During his senior year, Mike showcased his defensive talents with 4 interceptions and leading the team in tackles. These remarkable interceptions occurred during a Saturday home game against the rival Arrowhead. In his first interception, a pick 6, Mike caught the ball at the 50-yard line, ran down the sidelines, where all he could see was green grass in the end zone. And in front of him, he scored a touchdown. But as Mike's celebration was heating up, the referee threw a flag on the play, resulting in a 15-yard penalty. Now, being one that penalties dampen his spirits, not being one to let his penalties dampen his spirits, he showed off his quick learning skills in the next interception. He dashed over to the same referee responsible for the penalty, flashed a grin, and politely handed the football over to him. And 1977 was unforgettable for Grafton, with the team going undefeated and winning the conference championship. Although they advanced to the playoff, the journey concluded with a loss in the final game against Monona Grove. Despite this, the season stood as a testament to the team's strength and Mike's contributions on the field. Mike's after-season awards are impressive. He was selected on the defense, first team, all conference, first team, all state. Mike graduated high school in 1978, time when Jimmy Carter was president. Grease was electrifying audiences in the box office, and Saturday Night Live was the most watched on television. As a football standout, Mike caught the eye of numerous Division I schools, including Notre Dame, Nebraska, Purdue, and of course, Michigan. His first visit was to Michigan, where the legendary coach Bo Schembechler extended an offer he couldn't refuse, a scholarship to play football at Michigan. Naturally, Mike said yes. During his time at Michigan, the team advanced to 5 bowl games: the Blue Bonnet Bowl, the Gator Bowl, and 3 Rose Bowls. The last of the Rose Bowls was in 1983, and I had the pleasure of attending with my wife, Mike's mom and dad, and Mike's younger brother Jeff. It was a week filled with excitement and fun. Following college in the spring of '83, Mike was picked up by the Kansas City Chiefs and attended preseason camp. Although it was a valuable experience, he realized professional football was not for him. He retired from football and embarked on a 40-year career as an executive in supply chain and logistics. Mike has been happily married to his beautiful wife, Dawn, for over 30 years. And together they have raised 3 wonderful sons. Throughout the years, I've had the privilege of witnessing not only Mike's extraordinary athletic achievements, but also his growth into a remarkable man. I am truly honored that Mike chose me to introduce him today, and it is with immense pride that I present to you Mike Lemirande.
Happy birthday. Kevin, we strategized on that, right? We picked his birthday, right? We had to do that. Just a great man, a great mentor in my life. And with my aunts, my uncles, you know, I don't want to forget any names here, but you look at, you know, Mary Lou, and again, all of my aunts, and Susie supporting me, and then going through the things that we had to go through. And I'm going to get into, you know, 3 points: my blueprint, my move to Grafton from Milwaukee, and then just different tipping points in my life. But if you just take, you take a look at little taller than Uncle Woody. So sorry about that, Unc. So God works in mysterious ways, and one of the things I'll say is I want to thank God for giving me the strength to be here today, to talk to everybody today. You know, without God supporting me and having, you know, me having that faith and talking to Him often in great times and in tough times, because we work through some tough times. So today, again, I want to share with you, one, my blueprint. I'll explain what that is. My move to Grafton from Milwaukee, and then tipping points in my life. I love reading books. I read books very often, and one of my other mentors was Bo Schembeckler, and Bo was very passionate about reading books. Rubbed off on me. So what's very interesting is I picked up this book just a few weeks ago, after you called, and it says, "Who believed in you?" In this journey of life, we never go alone. We always have somebody there to support us. So when I grabbed this book and I read this book, it was amazing the timing of me reading this book. It was just written, just published, and I read this just a few weeks ago. It's just absolutely amazing. So when I talk about the blueprint, my older brother Patrick, and my younger brother Jeff will certainly appreciate this. And when you take a look at our lifeline, when we grew up in Milwaukee, and my father always corrected me on this, I always said we grew up in an 800 square foot house. And my father always corrected me, he said, "No, Mike, it was 840 square feet." So that was for me, that was a mansion. Unbelievable house. Grew up there. 2 great brothers, mom and dad that loved us. But as we were growing up in Milwaukee, Patrick, I won't bring your name up in this discussion, but you know, there's some things that we were doing that we probably shouldn't have been doing as teenage kids. Getting in a little bit of trouble. So Dad was breaking up fights and doing things to be a great father and a great mentor. And then what happened was very interesting when I talk about Lemirande blueprint, and I'll speak more specifically about me, is my dad worked at American Motors. And he goes to work one day, and as I said, things were a little challenging growing up in Ruby, 39th and Ruby, Milwaukee. Goes to work, his boss calls him in and says, "Mel, I need you to make a road trip for me. I need you to go up to this place called Grafton, and you need to pick up a blueprint from one of our suppliers." Okay. Dad drives up to Grafton. He had no idea where he's going, but he had the good old paper map that we used to use, right? Had the paper map, found his way to Grafton, Wisconsin. Stopped at the supplier. We're living on 39th and Ruby. Stopped at the supplier. For whatever reason, Dad took a left turn after picking up the blueprint for his boss. Took a left turn and another left turn and a right turn to the house that Dad and I went by today. And I haven't been back to look at that house since 1978. Turned the corner, and there was a house for sale. Cedar Street. And he looked at it, wrote the number down, went home, and he talked with our beautiful mother, who's passed 3 years ago, no longer with us, Judy. Went back and he said, I found a place. We are moving to Grafton. And of course, Mom said, as I talked with her, "Where the heck is Grafton?" Right? So Patrick, Jeff, they never really shared that with us, other than, right before the fall, they said, "You kids are no longer going to school down here. You're going to Grafton." So we went to Grafton High School. So a little bit of my experience at Grafton High School. So it was the 70s. I was a teenager, hung out in Milwaukee, and I I had some fun. Dad didn't think it was fun, some of the things I was doing. And I'm just being brutally candid here. But I showed up to Grafton, and one of my great friends over here, teammates, will confirm this. I showed up to Grafton with my purple bell bottoms and my high shoes and my, wild shirt. But the key was those purple bell bottoms and those great, and by the way, the hair was long. I showed up to Grafton. So was not received really well by some of my classmates, and also some of the coaches didn't like the long hair and purple bell bottoms and just kind of hanging out. So it was time for me to make an adjustment in my life. And once again, I'll bring this man up and my other relatives. But there were times when my Uncle Woody would sit me down on the picnic table that my father built. He was good at building picnic tables. And he would say to me, Mike, you need to believe in yourself. Always believe in yourself and never be bullied. Always believe in yourself. And he would get into details on what he meant by this. And then he found out one time that I was in a fight and things didn't go well with that. And this might sound off a little, but he said, you need to, don't be bullied, but here you need to learn how to defend yourself. He doesn't remember this, I don't think, but at 39th and Ruby, Milwaukee, he said, I don't want you to fight, I don't want you to be a bully, but I want you to learn how to defend yourself. And I've carried that with me through my 40-year career in business, carried that here at Grafton, and I carried that at the University of Michigan to talk about not bullying people. Believe in yourself and support people. And as I, transitioned and we moved to Grafton, one of the great things I'll also say is Patrick and Jeff and Mike, we stuck together as brothers. It was a tough move, just being brutally honest. We moved here and we defended one another. We stuck together, and we stuck together with my mom and dad, Mel and Judy. So we did that, and what happened here at Grafton was pretty amazing. Just made some great teammates, and I see Ms. Steinbach out there too. She was a mentor. Also, I remember talking to you. I haven't seen you since 1978, but we've had some of those conversations when I was that young guy that was a little confused on what I wanted to do with my life. But it's great seeing your smiling face. Great teammates. Had some great experience in football, basketball, track. Kip Kramer shows up and he teaches us, fundamentals. Teaches us how to play football, technique, and things like that. So that was a great opportunity for a lot of us. But when we came to Grafton and had the exposure here and working with the teachers and our classmates, it was a game changer, certainly for Mike Lemirande. Then I'm going to say I was really lucky. My uncle here, talked about a lot of things going on, but I'm going to say, in life sometimes you need a little bit of luck, and hard work. The harder you work, the luckier you get. But the fact of the matter is, a great tipping point in my life was going to the University of Michigan. Bo Schembechler, game changer, mentor. Every time I would sit down with Bo and have a conversation with him, even during the recruiting trip or when I'm playing for him, in University of Michigan, it's all about winning, right? So when you sit down and talk to a head coach like Bo Schembechler, and you have that one-on-one with him, based on talking with him, how much football, percentage-wise, during that conversation, how much football do you think Mike Lemirande and Bo Schembechler talked about during our one-on-one? Less than 5%. He talked about being a leader. He talked about being a good person. He talked about mentorship, mentoring the younger guys on the team. Talked about being a Michigan man, which meant, you know, you were respectful, you worked hard, you showed up early. That was a man that changed my life. Another man that changed my life. So that was a great, you know, tipping point for me, was having the opportunity, pretty lucky guy, out of 20, you know, they recruited and signed 23 guys, and I was one of them, very lucky. After I did that, as Uncle Woody said, I had, lettered 4 years at the University of Michigan, moved on to Kansas City, and realized that next level was pretty tough. And I was pretty well beat up by that time. And then decided to get into the business world after I talked to, once again, I'll bring up Bo's name. I went into him, I said, Bo, I'm thinking about getting in the coaching business. And he looked at me and he said, Lemirande. He was the only man on the face of the earth that could call me Lemirande. The name is Lemirande, it's French, right? So most of my friends would say, Mike, why don't you correct Bo? He's calling you Lemirande. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm going to tell him the proper way to say my name. No, I'm Lemirande when I talk to him. I said, I'm thinking about getting into coaching. He said, why would you get into coaching? You're doing great in school. You're a great leader. And he said, here's what I want you to do. Get into corporate America. What a great mentor, right? He said, I want you to get into the corporate world, get into business. And if you don't like that, and you're not successful, you and I will talk. And the great thing about it, when I'd go back to him and see him 3 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later, he said, Mike, you never came back and talked to me. So that's kind of a transition, a tipping point for me. And then I moved into corporate America. And just, again, based on conversations that I had with great mentors in my life, I was able to treat people with dignity, respect, and build great global teams. Once again, very fortunate. I was in supply chain logistics, and I traveled to places like Russia, Japan, Korea, Singapore, traveled the globe, and did that for 40 years, and just made some unbelievable friends. But the only reason I was able to do that, once again, is because of the people, a lot of the people in this room, and people my position coach, my academic advisor, Shelley Kovacs, who I'm still friends with today. Still friends with Shelley Kovacs today. 45 years ago, she was my academic advisor. And then I'm going to leave you with, you talk about, greatest accomplishments. One of the things that I did once I got into corporate America, I was working out of Detroit, and I heard of this guy by the name of Lee Iacocca. And during his book, Lee Iacocca talked about Dale Carnegie, the benefits of Dale Carnegie. I was like, well, if Lee Iacocca likes it and he makes his senior leaders, do that, at the C level, I thought, I got to look into this Dale Carnegie thing. So back in the day, $450 was a lot of money when I was 30 years old. That's what it was for Dale Carnegie. I signed up for Dale Carnegie, and the things that I learned in that class, once again, treating people with dignity, respect, listening skills, how to listen to understand versus to be understood. First time I heard that phrase, I was like, whoa, I'm not a very good listener. Please say that again so I understand what that means. Listen to understand versus be understood. Did that and took that course. It was a game changer. And I'm going to leave you again with, for me, bottom line is having great parents, uncles and aunts that encouraged me to believe in myself. Denny Brown, I got to bring his name up. Denny Brown was my linebacker coach at the University of Michigan. I'll get a little sentimental here talking to him. I'm still best friends with him. The man was just a great leader, great human being. To this day, we're best of friends. We text, and we don't talk every week, but we text back and forth every week. And lastly, I can't thank my amazing, beautiful wife, 30 plus years, Dawn. Just amazing. She was an athlete, track star in high school, 30 years, and we raised 3 absolutely wonderful kids. And I was traveling a lot, maybe too much, but I was gone 80% of the time. So when we had, our 3 boys, you look at Kyle, Zach, and Grant, she did a wonderful job. And we work as one team. Guess where I got that quote from? When you get married, Mike, you work as one team. Right, Uncle? So we work as one team. And what for me now that I'm a little bit older, I won't give you my exact age, but my birthday is just right around the corner, and it's going to be 65. So as we get a little older, the best thing for me is when I look at my 3 boys, Kyle, Zach, and Grant, hardworking, good people, and understanding that from a leadership standpoint, it's always treating people with dignity and respect, and believing in yourself. A great honor. Thank you very much. And I'm going to turn it over to you and let you take us over to dinner.
I don't know if you've noticed, but Mike's just a tad bit taller than I am, so I got to lower this down. So, at this time, we'd like to present Mike with this plaque on behalf of Grafton High School, which will also hang in our commons in his honor. This concludes the speaking portion of our event. We'd like to direct everyone's attention to our Hall of Fame, which is just to your left, and invite inductees and any representatives for those who could not be here tonight to join us behind the stanchions for our plaque unveiling and a photo opportunity. And until next year, we'd like to thank all of those who have made Blackhawk Athletics what they are and what they continue to be. We also encourage anyone who would like to nominate an individual to follow the link on the GHS High School website, as one needs to be first nominated before considered for induction into the Hall of Fame. Thank you, and as always, once a Hawk, always a Hawk. Thank you.